pandemic, actually, it was even before the pandemic. On Wednesdays, we had a facilitator, Christopher, who really wanted to bring forward his Zen practice. So Wednesdays became Zen's days. And we were studying Zen masters, and we've been reading the work of various Zen practitioners. Suzuki Roshi was one, Zen Mind, Beginner Mind. We've read Thich Nhat Hanh. We spent 2.5 years studying the work of Roshi Joan Halifax. And now we've departed ever so slightly by taking in the work of Shantideva. And Shantideva was an 8th century monk of the Buddhist tradition that I don't know. I think it's sort of like the Mahayana tradition, although I think it might have even predated that. It could have been kind of a blend of the Theravada traditions as well. So it was definitely his own thing. And he wrote this sort of roadmap on how to be a compassionate person, how to be a loving person. And this was really meant for him. But he talked about it, he taught it, and it eventually got written down. It's been translated a handful of times, and it comes in a number of different forms. The book that I'm using is Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And so that's what we've been studying. And we're in the 3rd chapter, and I'll be reading a few verses today. But before I begin, I'd like to set the intention of our practice today. This is a very traditional thing to do whenever we come into the presence of the 3 jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And it is a way of really assigning an anchor of why am I here today? Why have I prioritized this time? This particular sentiment of metta says, may you enjoy small wonders. May you enjoy small wonders. Friends, I'd like to invite you, that is, to find a posture in your body that enables you to receive. Receive this ancient wisdom from a single man, a student of Buddhism at one of the world's greatest universities in India. It is no more. It's in ruin. It was called Nalanda University, and it was the place to study Buddhism. And that's where Shantideva went as a Buddhist monk. And he was determined to take the Buddhist teachings, the things that he was learning and being exposed to, but to do as the Buddha said, which was to take this wisdom, to allow this wisdom to breathe him, and to see how this wisdom came alive in him, for him. Shantideva was absolutely devoted to understanding the conditions of misery, as was the Buddha. And Shantideva decided that he wanted to stay, to keep returning to cyclical existence as a being who could alleviate pain and suffering, that he himself could embody this wisdom so comprehensively, so completely, that his mere presence could bring lightness, illumination, healing. It was an enormous aspiration. And what is so beautiful about his aspiration is that it is alive today. We're reading about it today. And that's amazing. And so we get to hear his aspirations and allow that to inspire our own wisdom, to breathe it within ourselves so that we too can become powerful sources of healing to misery, our own, and by extension, the world. So be in a posture to receive this. And let's play that you're not feeling it. Let's play you're like, ugh, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't. Maybe it's nonverbal. Uncomfortable. I don't know. And you find yourself wanting to be distracted. Maybe you're online today and you want to work on your computer or piddle around in your house or work in your garden. And you know what? Invite that to be okay. Invite that to be your posture of receiving. Let's say you're really tired and you feel yourself falling asleep. Be okay. Let that be your posture of receiving. Exactly as you are is perfect to receive this wisdom. These are the words of Shantideva. With my palms pressed together, I make this request. Please do not leave living beings in a state of blindness, but remain with us for countless eons. Thus, through the merit I have collected from all these virtuous actions, may the suffering of every living being be brought completely to an end. And until all those who are sick have been cured of their illness, may I become their medicine, their doctor, and their nurse. May a rain of food and drink descend to dispel the miseries of hunger and thirst. And during the great eon of famine, may I become their food and drink. May I become an inexhaustible treasury for the poor and destitute. May I be everything they need, placed freely at their disposal. From this moment on, without any sense of loss, I shall give away my body and likewise my wealth and my virtues amassed throughout the 3 times to help all living beings, my mothers. Through giving all, I shall attain nirvana of the Buddha, and my bodhicitta wishes will be fulfilled. I give up everything for the sake of living beings, who are the supreme objects of giving. Take a moment and just invite a simple query. How does this land for you? Here is somebody who is saying that through their practice, they can be a source of healing. They want to try to alleviate all the ills of the world. Is it possible? Is it realistic? Is it egoic? Let's be fearless and ask that question. Is it nonsense? For any of you who've practiced with me for a second, you'll know that I'll likely answer any of those questions with, that's true. Might be true. It could be totally nonsense. And it's not the whole truth. So the next question is, what else is true? If this aspiration is nonsense and that's true, what else is true? Shantideva may be presenting us with a somewhat impossible goal, what may seem unachievable. But let's not become despondent, and let's not become lazy either, because then the invitation is to turn that aspiration inward. So I may not be able to have much effect on the world, this nation, the state of Washington where I live, the town of Spokane where I'm at, the local community around my farming community, even my extended family, even my immediate family. But then as you notice I'm getting smaller and smaller and narrower in my focus. And at the end of the day, what am I left with to work with? Me. And I definitely have an aspiration to heal the misery within me by understanding the conditions of my own habit energy, my own misery. And the more I understand myself and heal the conditions that cause my own discomfort and suffering, that will ripple out and positively affect my family. And that will ripple out and positively affect my extended family and community and maybe city and state and nation and so on. How I interpret this is as an invitation to take care so that I can become more caring and more effective in my care. That then begs the question, well, how do I take care? And that's a very personal reflection. And that's what I would ask each of you today to take into your meditation, take into your day. How do you take care? How do you want to take care? What do you think taking care means? What are the hurdles for you taking care? What gets in your way? What stories and misgivings trip you up about taking care? The sentiment of metta today. May you enjoy small wonders. That is an invitation to take care, to notice the smallest, most seemingly insignificant thing can actually provide the most profound healing. A moment to breathe with intentionality is not a moment of luxury. It's actually a moment of preventative care. Nurturing food, kind thoughts, gentle words, radiant presence, bright eyes, a mind that isn't so distracted that it can actually have clear thoughts. These are small wonders with extraordinary effect. They are great acts of caring that, taken in, will radiate out and will actually become the living aspiration that Shantideva describes. So for the next few moments of silence, friends, come into your heart. Drop from the mind into the heart. Feel a sense of care and see what that does for you. What stirs up? How do you want to take care? What gets in your way? How can you gently pave the way to care anew? Enjoy this reflection. friends. Let's end our meditation and reflection time today with a very simple breathing meditation coupled with mantras of taking care. Breathing in a sip of the sacred. Breathing out, this is how I take care. Breathing in, sacred. Breathing out, care. I'd like to go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. The goodness of prioritizing an hour is a small wonder and a profound, wise action. May you take the merit, the goodness of this practice and allow it to roll in the mind as it slowly descends to the heart, where it can radiate into the world as goodness, your presence, your kindness, your speech, your patience, your capacity to take sips of the sacred in the breath, your capacity to exhale calm and care. May you notice the trees and their ability to root and ground as a small wonder and as an invitation to be. Have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.